Chrysler Pacifica. It's the van life for real life.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to Newswave. So we've talked quite a bit about the all-digital future that we're clearly trending towards in games, and yesterday we had a bit of a scare as people started to realize what could happen if a publisher decides they don't want you to own a game in your digital library anymore. We'll go over all of that here today. Also, we are going to be talking about Haven Studios and PlayStation as they have now made that deal official and even given some insight as to why Sony was so quick to acquire them. And we're also going to talk about some massive video game sales that are going on pretty much across the retail space, along with free games you can claim right now. Guys, if you enjoy these videos, make sure you hit that like button. Helps out a ton. And if new here to the SpawnWave channel, make sure you subscribe down below. And we're going to start today with Respawn and apparently a new single-player FPS that they are working on right now. We can see this post up on Dexero. Says Respawn Entertainment is working on a new FPS title in the Apex Legends universe, which also happens to be the Titanfall universe, and it appears to be a single-player game. This was actually according to a job listing for a senior engine systems designer on the Respawn website, describing it as Apex Universe FPS incubation title. So something that's still pretty early on. Like, I don't think this would be something that would even be teased like this year, even into next year. So I like the idea of them having Apex Legends as their big multiplayer game, but then building out side projects or stories taking the form as smaller budget single player experiences. Like if you just broke off Titanfall 2's campaign, people wouldn't look at that as this massive AAA experience or anything. It's very, very good, but clearly it was to be packaged with the multiplayer. But I think it could still stand on its own and then also work to just flesh out the universe of Apex Legends, which is clearly very popular for Respawn. So I'd like to see more of this. It just seems like we're going to be a ways off, and who knows, maybe they have some nods towards Titanfall along with it. Also, a few years ago, we had Phantasy Star Online 2 head to the West on the Xbox. It was certainly a surprise during their showcase to just say, hey, Phantasy Star Online 2, it's getting localized and we're dropping it right onto the Xbox free to play. It's something people have been waiting a long time for, and now it looks like their plans to bring it to other platforms in the West is starting to happen. We can see this posted up over on their website saying Phantasy Star Online 2 New Genesis comes to PlayStation 4 on August 31st. And get this, it will be cross-play for other platforms along with the PS4. So if you're on the PS4, you can play with friends on the Xbox, PC, and all this. And they also say that you'll be able to enjoy content that's released in the past year. since the game's launch, which includes the latest update for Frozen Resolution and the new Waker class. This is great, though, for Phantasy Star Online 2, as we heard that they would have plans to bring it to PlayStation, maybe even Switch, and that would be a pretty cool thing to see, just for the overall community with Phantasy Star Online 2, the player count, of course, but the fact that you could have people on Xbox, on PlayStation, and on Switch, along with PC, just kind of all playing together, would be good to see. I'm curious if that does end up happening, but at the very least, you can look towards Phantasy Star Online 2 launching on the PlayStation at the end of August. Oh, and of course, we know that in about 2 months, Last of Us Part 1 will be releasing, and it looks like it has now gone gold. We can see this posted up over on the Naughty Dog Twitter account. Thrilled to announce The Last of Us Part 1 has gone gold. Congratulations to the dogs and our partners, PlayStation, who contributed their passion and talent to the growing world of The Last of Us. Not at all surprising this has gone gold. I was not expecting it to get delayed. They seemed pretty confident when they announced it there during Summer Game Fest with Jeff Keighley. And there's been a lot of discourse and controversy around the price tag for it, but people still seem pretty excited about it. And I'll admit it's a compelling thought to have Last of Us Part 2 with the gameplay and the controls, mechanics, just kind of get put into Last of Us, and then also had the visuals updated, and it's something that I will be checking out, so I look forward to that one in September. It seems like it's on track again as expected. And guys, with some of the quick news out of the way, let's get into the bigger stuff. Let's start right away. That all digital future that keeps coming up, and we keep seeing quite a few drawbacks and really what could happen in the future when there is no physical media. And for the most part, the publishers are completely in control with the purchases that you're making. Well, we can see this posted up. This is over on the Steam subreddit, and this really got things rolling along, pointing out a page on Steam for Assassin's Creed Liberation HD. In fact, it says here, it will not be accessible following September 1st, 2022, even if you had already purchased it, which sounded like they were going to come in and take it out of your Steam library. And this was frustrating for a lot of people because it had just been on sale for Steam with that summer sale, which, I mean, a lot of people will go through, myself included, and you're looking through Steam and it's like, oh, that game's $1, that game's $2, that might be $3. You sort of stack it in a cart, and you're like, this will be really cool, I'll check it out at some point, and then you never do. But Assassin's Creed Liberation HD, while it's not like a great Assassin's Creed game or anything, still it kind of introduces the idea of that. What happens if the publisher has issues with rights holders or whatever's going on, and they say, hey, we can't let you have this game anymore. Do you have the right to get a refund for it, or can you stop them? We were about to find out, at least until Ubisoft started having some comments and updates for VGC, who was reaching out to them. They first started with this one. We don't take the decision to retire services for older Ubisoft games lightly, and our teams are currently assessing all available options for players who will be impacted when these games' online services are decommissioned on September 1st. So I don't really get like a clear answer with that. So they had to come back again, and they said, as stated in our support article, only DLCs and online features will be affected by the upcoming decommissioning. Current owners of these games will still be able to access, play, or re-download them. So obviously that's good news that you won't just have your game taken from your Steam library. You'll still be able to re-download it after it gets delisted from the Steam store, which that part isn't necessarily new. We've seen digital games just kind of get delisted and removed from storefronts, like Forza comes to mind, which is strange because that is a first-party game that gets pulled out of Game Pass, and that has to do with licensing for cars. And it's not just Forza. We had like Drive Club was another one. That happens with a lot of these car games where they have licensing through different brands for cars, and after a set amount of time, there's no point necessarily in re-upping it because the next Forza game or a newer car game is out. In this case, though, it's a little strange because it's Ubisoft and Assassin's Creed. They had mentioned mentioned that they were moving resources to something else, and I don't know, I guess they were like, well, no one's really buying it anyway or playing it, we're just going to kind of pull all this down. And the potential for it being pulled from your Steam library was brought up because it was like listed as such on the Steam store page for this Assassin's Creed game. So we of course look towards the digital physical split being more in favor of digital games, and we assume with these consoles just having digital variants with the PS5 and the Xbox Series S that we could work towards that completely by the next generation with like a PlayStation 6. We're assuming there'll be a disc drive there, but it's possible it'll just be a digital system that releases, just pushing us completely over the edge. So when you see stuff like this and potential for a precedent to be set that they can remove it from your library, yeah, that got people pretty concerned. And that with the idea that Nintendo had their Wii and their DSi stores just down for months and you weren't able to re-download games you had purchased, it's concerning.